Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast. Experience support for confident business makers. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Brooke Janousek. Brooke is a fractional CMO and digital nomad on a journey to intentionally live a joyful life. She is the founder of the Grow CMO, a fractional leadership solution for effective marketing growth that she founded in 2022 after 2 decades as a leading expert in the marketing industry. You can follow her digital nomad journey along with her lessons on the road at Brooke on the Grow. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Brooke Janousek.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first off, Brooke, why do you do what you do?
Well, that is a great question, honestly. And it really comes down to 3 things. I love solving problems. I love being creative and coming up with ideas. And most importantly, I love helping businesses and people grow.
And let's talk a little bit about this. Before we started recording, you mentioned that there's a disconnect oftentimes between brand marketing and performance marketing. So square that circle, or why is it important for people to keep those things both in mind at the same time?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, it's something I'm really passionate about and feel that a lot of people feel it's a either or. So they will really lean into the brand piece. So they're building the brand and they're doing a lot of things that align with the brand. And then maybe they forget that they also have to generate sales from that. And the dichotomy really happens between usually the CEO, the CFO, and then the CMO. So the CEO and CFO want results overnight. They want to see the sales. They want to see the bottom line increase. They want a return on their investment. And that is absolutely within their right to want that. And as a marketer, I want to drive that. I want to drive that ROI for my leaders. But at the same time, building a brand takes time. And if you don't have a strong brand, it's going to be that much harder to generate those leads to have successful performance marketing. So I'll give you an example. I guess the best example I can think of is moving to a new town. So you move to a new town. For me, I moved after 40 years to a brand new town, and I expected everyone was going to know who I was. So just like a brand expanding into a new market, they think we were the top dog in town in XYZ city, and now we've expanded to the adjacent market and nobody knows who we are. Why isn't the phone ringing? Why isn't anyone calling us? And it's the same thing. Nobody knows who I am personally. They don't know my brand yet. Nobody knows that company's brand yet. So you do have to take the time to build that brand and build trust with your consumers so they understand not only why should I purchase products from you, but then what you offer.
And talk a little bit about this. When I say the following sentence, which do you think is more accurate? That brand is about what people say about you, or is brand what you put into the marketplace?
Oh my gosh. I think, can I say both? I
Sure.
honestly think people say, brand is what people say about you because of what you put out in the marketplace. So I have done a lot of work in the last 1.5 years in developing my personal brand so people understand why to work with me. I've worked with brands that have taken years to get to the point where people know them as a household name. And I think people know who you are and what they say about you because you're consistently putting the same message out in the market. And that's one of the tenets of branding, really, is to be consistent and to really know what you stand for and then just keep putting that out there in the market.
And before we started recording, you also mentioned a recent blog post that you did. I think it was on LinkedIn, and we'll put that in the show notes, about a company that sold you razors developing a board game. Talk about that.
Yes, actually, that is something I wrote last night from an email I received from this company. So I subscribe to one of those subscription services that delivers razors. So like a Dollar Shave Club, this one is called Billy, and they are just for women. And I have loved this product from day one. The product works, so that's kind of table stakes, but I love their branding and I love their mission. And they really are at the core of who they are as a business. They want to empower women. And so I was really surprised and intrigued yesterday when I received an email saying that they launched a board game. And I thought, why is this Razer company launching a board game? So I went in, I was very intrigued. It was a great email and subject line. So I opened the email and see that they have this board game called No Worries If Not. So I don't know if you can relate to that, but any of the women listening to this email absolutely can relate to that. I have sent many an email that says, no worries, or no worries if you can't do this. And it's just like I'm dismissing or like making it seem like it's not important. And so they took that little insight from women that I know is, bouncing around in our heads or we've used in conversation and turned it into a board game about women empowerment. And it just completely fits their brand, and it has us talking about their brand. And I'm sure their Razer sales are going up because of it.
So let me follow up on that. I have typed the phrase "no worries" into an email. I really mean no worries. Is it different when a man types it?
I think in society, yes. I think, and not because of how it's received on the other end, but I think what it means if I type it versus what you mean. So, for example, you said you truly mean no worries. And for me, I'm trying to soften the blow, or I'm trying to make it seem like, well, if I'm being a nuisance to you, so if you don't have time to write back to me, no worries. Kind of like that. So it's almost like I am making myself smaller when I do that. And I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for all women, but that is the interpretation that that I take from it and the difference.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that.
Sure.
Brooke, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
I have listened to several of your episodes, a longtime listener, first time caller, and I heard several people, and I've heard you ask this question, and it really made me think, what am I going to say? And immediately what popped into my head, is Barbara Corcoran. So she is one of the sharks on Shark Tank. And the reason why is I love her grit. Entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. It's not for the faint of heart. And you have to have a lot of grit to sustain the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. And so she started from very humble beginnings, and she ended up taking a loan from her ex-husband, or her boyfriend at the time, for $1,000. She started a real estate company. He ended up stepping out on her. And on the way out the door, he said, "Good luck succeeding without me." And I just love that she took that and just fueled it into, okay, I can do anything and I don't need anybody to help me. And I'm going to, grit my way to the top. She's one of 10 children, very humble beginnings. And I think she's the epitome of what it means to work hard and persevere.
And lastly, Brooke, how can somebody contact you?
I am very active on LinkedIn. So you can find me by searching Brooke Janousek on LinkedIn. I also have the blog you mentioned at the beginning, brookeonthegrow.com. And I also have contact information on my LinkedIn profile. You can reach me there.
All right. Brooke Janousek, founder of The Grow CMO. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you for having
me. Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.